Our spooky Ford News edition. So it's spooky because there are some cancellations. I'm Johnny from Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. If you're watching this and it's not Halloween, I'll remind you, it's Halloween for us this evening during the live Ridgeview. Welcome to the show. We've got Marie. Marie's right here. So she just bumped the table. We'll just have to back that up a little. And sorry for the camera shake. So Marie, why don't you tell them before we get to the spooky Ford news, talking about cancellation. We'll be talking about the Ford Maverick, the Ford Ranger, the Ford Bronco. And actually, if I have time, I want to go through actually and talk about where we're at in regards to getting build dates. So basically, help you understand if you get scheduled soon, when does that mean you actually get built if you don't face delays? So Marie, why don't you tell them, what's your costume?
I could say an old lady from the 80s, maybe. And what about you?
Yeah, so Marie is, we'd have a French name for her. We'll call her, what was it, Jeanette?
Cécile.
Cécile. So we got Cécile here with us tonight, normally Marie-Pierre, and I'm Johnny from Johnny's Car Care and Reviews as your 80s rocker with a little less makeup. So sorry, we're sorry we started up a little late. We were trying to get pictures up because we did want to have a few pictures up for the show, and that took an extra 5 minutes.
Because it was long to make his hair look like that.
And it's Halloween, so I gave up my night off, of course, to someone who has kids. We just have the poodles. We'll be back probably tomorrow night for either a show or a live for what we don't cover in this evening's video. And so thank you. If you want to add and join us on Instagram, you'll have some photos on Instagram as well. What we show up here, I'll probably throw on, definitely we'll throw some of it on Instagram, if not all of it. So you'll want to just follow along with our Instagram account, often with the lives, but this live we did not get set up because, like I said, I worked and I normally would not be working this evening. So let's get to the news. Okay, so we've got a bit of scheduling news to give out, and some of it is a bit spooky. So I just want to give everyone a heads up. You know, we've talked about Broncos and cancellations and how they can get canceled. Basically, very important that everyone knows, especially if you're a dealer. You actually got a deadline coming up. So 2 things I want to mention about scheduling. Essentially, any unscheduled model year 22 retail, so that's us, customer orders, retail orders, that are needing to be converted into 23 model year orders. Ford has put this down very clearly. I'll quote this right up. Once 22 model year production has concluded for a given vehicle line, as a best practice, if a customer opts to resubmit their order as a 23 model year, please ensure the 23 model order is submitted using the same order number and customer name from the original 22 model year order. So this is not the time to go from Mrs. to Mr.'s name, to go from personal to company name. If it was previously in a personal name or a company name, make sure the same name carries over, and do keep the same order number. Now, those were notes from, that was an important note from last week, covering the October 24th to the 28th. And now Tim Bart's actually brought out a little bit of news saying that for the Maverick, for those that were supposed to get built as, let's say, October or November 22s, when they're going into a 23, when they've been pushed to a 23 build date, basically any that have been pushed into a build date that's in the month of December, that means you're being pushed as a 23, and that Ford will duplicate that order. They'll put you down, not right away as a priority 2, because the dealership needs to go in and basically show Ford that they've actually talked to the client, because there's some changes that the clients that we need to be made aware of. If you're an XLT, you need to be made aware, if you ordered luxury package, that you're losing, the bed rails, you're losing your bed cover, whether that was spray in or drop-in. Drop-in is the plastic one, and you're losing the remote start. Now, if you have a Lariat luxury package, you're losing the Copilot 360 assist that you had on the 22. So that means you're losing your adaptive cruise control, your evasive steering, and your evasive steering assist, meaning the vehicle helps you avoid an accident, and the reverse sensing, little sensors in the back. So if you want to add that on, you'd have to go on and add Copilot 360 assist for your 23. So basically, your dealer, if you want to make changes, you can make changes. Ford duplicates it. They'll code it 99, just like they're doing, let's say, for Broncos. Code it 99. The dealer needs to talk to you, and then you can make the changes, and you'll actually be put as a priority 2 with Ford. So Ford is going to do everything that they can to get you built. And remember, I am a priority 1 on my Lightnings. That's my priority code. Dealers can give 10 to 19. They could also give 20 if they want to label you a stock order, or 99 if they don't want you built right away. But only Ford can give out, 1 to 9. So on the Mavericks, they're going to give out a code 2, but as a code 1, if you get a priority code 1, you can be built anytime. We got given our VIN, scheduled our VIN, as well as scheduled our build date for, it was the 20-something of November, 26th, I believe, on a week where no Ford model was getting scheduled. So, interestingly enough, when you're a priority 1, you can get built literally anytime, including a week that nothing is getting scheduled, whether it's your model or all models. All models weren't getting scheduled that week. And now my news for the Lightning is, hey, we can sometimes get earlier dates because we've been pushed to the 15th of November. So we just cut down 11 days. So we will get it theoretically 11 days sooner if we don't get pushed back out. But we've actually been given an earlier date. So I want to mention that out. Also, of course, your dealer on a lot of models, of course, the colors are no longer available. So on the Maverick, the Velocity Blue is no longer available. The system will automatically give you a similar color. So in the case of the Maverick, Alto, and your dealership needs to go in and change your code. Now you'll want to watch Tim's video that he made this evening. He mentions that dealers, at least for the Maverick, aren't supposed to reuse the same code. If I understood correctly, of course, I was watching this right before this show, so trying to listen to it twice to make sure I get it right. And here in Canada, well, the helpful scheduling and must-know information hasn't been given out. We're 30% late on this stuff. In the States, they seem to get them often on Mondays. We occasionally get them on Monday evenings. We'll likely get it tomorrow. So I'll really confirm in tomorrow's live, as long as I can get to it. I want to squeeze that in, whether it's a live or a show. But the general rule of thumb is that you keep the same order number and customer name. And from the Maverick, for those that are getting duplicated and were supposed to get built as 22s but get pushed into December build dates, meaning they will be built as 23s, under the 23, you could say, rules. So under the 23 order guide. So if you lost your color in 22, you're losing it. You're not going to get built with the previous luxury package. You're not going to get built with previous colors that are no longer available. And from my understanding from Tim's video, if he's in the live comments, hopefully he can clarify this. But from my understanding, he was saying use a different order code for the 23. I don't quite understand that one, because when Ford duplicates it themselves, I would think they duplicate underneath the same order. And also in the past, when we have to duplicate orders ourselves, we use the same code, and Ford themselves knows which one to delete. So Marie's, but maybe it's just different for people that are being pushed. Marie was never scheduled as a build, so her order code is still the same order code as it always has been. It was one of the first hybrid Mavericks for the sales consultant, so she's had the same code all along. She's a letter 01 and another letter for the salesperson's initials. So that's that. We're going to move right along with spooky news. So Marie, if you want to note that we're done talking about the Maverick, and now we're moving on to more spooky news. The Ford Fiesta is getting canceled, and I'm sure there's so many people everywhere just crying because it was such a beloved model. Actually, I joke, I'm allowed to joke, it's Halloween and I can be sarcastic. Ford actually did a really heartwarming and surprisingly touching video saying goodbye to the Fiesta. And if you want to catch that online, it's worth watching. It was kind of almost felt like they were saying bye to a family member. So really heartwarming video.
At the same time, we already knew that Ford was going to do more SUVs and trucks, so I guess it's not a big surprise, but yeah.
So our co-host over there, Winston, if you could stop digging on the bed, that would be fantastic. So the Fiesta is out of the game. Marie, how did you feel about the Fiesta?
It's sad. I think it's not a big deal because we didn't see that model often on the road, so maybe there wasn't too many fans of the Fiesta. It was great because Ford has many models to offer, so truck, SUVs, and cars. But we already knew, like I said, that Ford will remove the little cars someday, so it's not a surprise for me.
So not a surprise, they're removing little cars, but they're adding great high volume models that if you're holding Ford shares, you should be happy with these type of decisions because, you know, they brought us the big Bronco, the Bronco Sport, they're bringing us the F-150 Lightning, and actually in removing the Lightning at the same time, Jim Farley plugged and showed, if I recall, 4 electric models. So 4 new electric models, and I actually suspect when things are said and done shortly it'll be 5 because, well, in Canada, at the plant in Canada, they build the Edge, the Nautilus, and they build about 5 models. So I think there's been news, I know there's been news about that plant building 5 new models, and I suspect all 5 models to be electric. So Canada is going to be a big player in helping Ford produce electric vehicles. Now I've got a few little electric vehicles notes. I want to mention, I applaud Ford for going towards lithium phosphate batteries because we're going to be able to charge at full speed from 80 to 100% because currently with lithium ion, once you get to 80% charge on your battery, the last 20% is very slow charging. Going to lithium phosphate is going to use some less minerals or remove the minerals that are problematic in to get safety, environmental, and whatnot. So that's great, and that's going to be pretty helpful in making the vehicle more of a long distance traveler because when you can stop and actually full charge at full speed all the way to 100%, well, that's great. You stop. Normally when you go for gas, if you got a Bronco, you're standing there for 7 minutes filling up that tank because it's a big tank. Worse if you have an F-150. Then you go to the washroom, you buy another coffee, which means, if you're me, you're going to be going to the washroom again in 2 hours and she's going to be laughing at you. But that's just our trips down. I seem to have the smaller bladder. But
we're always stopping for him, not for the dog.
But the good news is you'll get that battery charged right up to 100%. Ford's also working on cables that will allow the transfer of more electricity, more of a charge, so that charging times can become even faster. So they're working on new cables for that. So all really good stuff. And they also work with redwood materials, and they're going to be building a factory in the United States, and they're going to be working on recycling battery components. So Ford is trying to make sure that production comes back to the US when we're talking about batteries. Now, before we talk about something we've lost on more spooky news, something we've lost on the Bronco, I just quickly want to touch on the photos behind us. So we just want to quickly point out, we've been doing hours on the back roads with our Bronco. This past weekend, the weekend before, so in the last 2 weekends, we've done about 6 hours of back road driving the Bronco is fantastic. The 2.7 liter is extremely powerful. You do not need a Raptor to have a good time in a Bronco. The 2.7 liter is more than enough power. Marie was actually asking me not to accelerate quite as quickly because the dogs were, flying, kind of molding together, you could say, because they're being squished together so much by the force. So Marie was like, could you please stop accelerating so hard? So the 2.7 liter, fantastic acceleration, fantastic suspension, because we're taking it out on dirt roads, gravel roads, and often, we go through washboard roads, and the thing is solid. You go through a section of washboard road, it stays in a straight line. It doesn't wobble. It doesn't wander. It is a wonder how they could get a vehicle so high, so big, to go so incredibly well. And the fuel economy, hopefully someone in the live comment section will comment what they'll do the conversions on Google. So you put 14.2 liters per 100 kilometers in miles per gallon. But that's what we're getting, 14.2 miles per gallon as an average, with an average speed of 45 kilometers an hour. So about 32, 33 miles per hour. And that's the average we have. So that means our average is city driving. So we're unbelievably pleased with the Bronco. You love the soft top. You love it in the summer. And even though you're you get cold easily. I'm not going to say you're frigid. That's the wrong term.
No, that's the wrong term.
You get cold really easily. And you didn't have issues
We don't receive that much wind if we compare with the Mustang. So with the Mustang top down, it's always so cold with the wind, but in the Bronco, it's like it passed far away from her head. So yeah, that's nice. I love the ride.
And the Raptor, this isn't our Raptor. We just love the blue color. Our Raptor is white. F-150 Raptor, we're unbelievably pleased with it. The suspension's a little softer because, well, it's a truck that's made to fly without the airbags blowing up. It's not the Ram. So you can actually, the suspension was made to get a little air. And the sound system in the Bronco it passes. It gets like a 52 on the high school exam. So it passes, it gets to move on to the next grade. But this is like a 9.7 out of 10. It is fantastic. And the last 0.3 would only be if there is a sub making a bit while the seat already shakes. It's fantastic. It's a little bit more wobbly, of course, because that suspension is softer for absorbing bumps, but it is a total beast. It's a barrel of laughs, and it's all about smiles per gallon, but nonetheless, we're getting about 15 liters per 100 kilometers in it, and that's really not bad. So in the comments section...
And you really try it.
Oh yeah, and I'm having fun. I'm trying it.
You don't drive softly, so that's not that bad.
Now, if you're in the comments section and you're dressed up for Halloween because you're giving out candy and you're walking away from the show and coming back, well, hopefully you hear this and you're not in one of your candy giving out moments. Let us know if you're dressed up for Halloween, and if so, what are you dressed up as? Share with the community, the Ford family here, and the occasionally covering other models family. And I do really appreciate y'all when I know this is basically, we're all mostly here for the Ford content. That's 95% of the subscribers, but it is really appreciated when I put out, let's say, a Toyota video or whatever it may be. It's really appreciated that even if you don't like the model, just let it run on your phone or on your tablet. Let it run in the background. Take my voice out of it, because it'll actually, otherwise YouTube, if my subscribers don't watch a video, they assume the video is horrible and won't suggest it to anyone. And even in the first 2 hours, that's when they decide if they're going to suggest it to this channel's group of subscribers. So it might only go out to, 100, or only be suggested to a few hundred subscribers. And if the first few hundred subscribers, if you get that notification within the first hour or two and you don't click on it, YouTube just goes, oh, it's complete garbage. And I put out time in those videos as well. And I would slowly, it's great that if we all, for me, when I talk about Ford products, it's great if I've been playing around with some other products. Here we go. Today we had a Ferrari stop at the garage. Actually, it's its second visit to the garage. It is incredible. And I'd love to know in the comment section, would you rather your ideal Mustang build and own every single color, or one Ferrari? Because that's about what it works out to, but the one Ferrari is incredible. Today, driving the Mustang though, if I been driving a Ferrari, I would have lost that real carbon fiber lip in the front, because the Mustang, just made it over it. So I find the Mustang is actually the perfect compromise between power, fuel economy, and actual use. So love the Mustang, but Ferrari is just an incredible piece of art. And I'm just going to take a moment, try to get some more pictures here. So we had that. Sounds incredible, but Mustang GT, I think Ford does a good job of bringing as much European technology to us at a reasonable price. I'm a huge fan of the current Mustang, huge fan of our Bronco, and a huge fan of the Raptor. So sorry, honey.
No, that's fine. I was thinking you were searching a picture, so I wanted just to let you know that she said to people that write what's their costume for tonight. So the WB, I guess he will win the costume contest because he dressed as Jim Farley, he said.
That's so cool. Had I had more time to get the proper costume down, I kind of wanted to dress as a legend and a bit of a hero, you could say. I wanted to dress up as Tim Bartz. So if any of you,
would be funny.
I think all of you know who Tim Bartz is. I mention him often enough, and a lot of you will probably already subscribe to his channel. If not, do so. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, well, do so just because it helps feed and dress a poodle. We'll have to do a little short for the YouTube showing all the costumes Marie bought for the dogs. We didn't have time to dress them up for Halloween. They weren't.
And because we know that they will eat their costume while we were talking, so we need to check them when we dress them with the costume.
Yeah.
And Nick North has a good one. He said his daughter and him are Ghostbusters. So that's a cool one.
Love it. Now, I just want to mention something that's neat about the Ferrari that it bothers me about any vehicle. If you're going to have vents, make sure they're real. So if I review a vehicle and they've got fake vents, it drives me up a wall. So the Ferrari, these vents back here on the back of the vehicle, what's neat is they're real and they bring air right to the tires and brakes. And then in the back, on the back of the vehicle, well, it lets the air back out and around the exhaust. You see that mesh? Well, on the exhaust, that mesh is also letting the air out. So wind goes into the tire well, it goes out the tire well and back the vehicle. So that's what's nice. Is there was a time when Ford also had fake vents, and it drove me up a wall that a Mustang would have a fake vents. But our Mustang, all the vents are real. So glad they're not doing fake vents anymore, despite it being quite popular on the market. So all real vents. Beautiful, beautiful vehicle. If you want to see what it looks like next to a Bronco, I still really like the Bronco. So let's talk more about spooky Ford news. So now we're on to the Bronco. We'll see, we're on the 23rd minute. If you want to just note it, we're now on to Bronco. Someone made a fantastic suggestion. I've actually been reminded a few times, and I need the reminders. So please, comment section, you can totally give me reminders. I appreciate the help. They said, Johnny, break up your live shows into time segments. So that's what we're doing here this evening. So more spooky news. All the limited edition Broncos. Some dealers were taking orders in advance. And originally Ford did talk about these being available for people who've been waiting all this time. Now they have done a good job trying to catch up, getting people their Broncos who ordered quite a while back. But Ford is canceling all Bronco Heritage limited edition orders that were made. It says online, but some dealers were doing this. Basically, what's going to happen is the limited edition Bronco Heritage, which is essentially, it's a Badlands Plus. So it's got everything you can throw onto a Badlands Bronco and then some. It's cool. It's got a painted white top. It's got painted white mags. And the interior is a really cool, very, very cool brown interior. Well, what's going on with that is it's actually going to be dealer stock. So that's just the way it is. And I really hope that dealers won't mark these up. But if you can get your hands on one, I do see this being a collector's item. So I think it's really worth getting your hands on one. And then that's that. I actually saw Bronco Everglades for sale today. And I didn't move fast enough on it because I couldn't decide if I was willing to give up the Mustang or the Mustang or the Raptor, because our current Bronco, well, that's going to need to be switched when we switch over to the Lightning, because I want to be in the know. And the Lightning is just a whole new world. And I have tasted the acceleration on that, and I feel it's worth the price because of the performance. Braking, acceleration, and cornering on the F-150 Lightning is incredible. Now, another product that I believe is going to be incredible is the new Ford Ranger. So if you order a Ranger now, you're ordering the current model for the North American market. So the one that's been around since 2019. I suspect, based on dates given out, it's going to be either by reservation process or ordering at your dealer. If it's reservation process, you can expect late winter to spring, to then be converted to orders late spring, early summer. And I have a feeling, based on when the 23 Ranger is going to no longer be getting built, well, I expect by end of summer, so probably about August, they're going to start building the new model, the new styled Ranger. But that's going to be a great product because you can get it with a 2.7 liter twin turbo engine. And on the F-150, that engine is fast. On the Bronco, it's very fast. And on the Ranger, coming in probably weighing about 1,000 pounds less than an F-150, it is going to be ridiculously fast. So you won't have to go Raptor on that either. If you get a Ranger with a 2.7 liter and you love performance, you are going to love that vehicle. So Ridgeview says, if you want to just read out what Ridgeview say, we'll get back to talking about the Ranger.
Yeah, I would love to see my 2023 Maverick Lariat become an hybrid four-wheel drive with an electric motor in the rear.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah,
I kind of like the setup on the Lincoln Corsair. So the setup's out there. The Lincoln Corsair is a plug-in, all-wheel drive hybrid. And of course you have the regular hybrid all-wheel drive on the Escape. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. That won't be spooky news. I'll have to find a special title that says basically I'm ecstatic, I'm blown away. Maybe, I'll have to make one of those wild titles that's like Ford blows away the competition, or Toyota is in huge trouble because of Ford, because, well, really that will be a game changer. Already the Maverick is a huge game changer. It is an excellent product, and I think it's worth waiting for because no one has anything that's equivalent. Price-wise, it's unbeatable. Fuel economy-wise, it's unbeatable. And it just drives really well. We're really, really pleased. I was surprised. I never expected the Maverick to be that good, and I wasn't a full believer. Originally, we ordered one because the price and the fuel economy, it fit in her budget, and fuel economy wise, it was like, well, this is better than a Honda Civic, and we're gonna have more space on it. So, honey, yeah, makes sense. And then I drove it, and I was like, wow,
that's impressive.
Impressive. It doesn't make sense for the price. So back to the Ford Ranger. The Ford Ranger, if you get that with a 2.7 liter, you're gonna have a very fast and very fun vehicle. Depending on pricing, I might try to get a Raptor Ranger, because that's gonna be ridiculously fast. Like, we're talking about 400 horsepower. That's gonna be mind-blowing. So it will have the 3 liter V6 twin turbo. But here's where I'm torn. I've driven Explorer STs that have the 3 liter. I've driven Lincoln Aviators that have the V6 3 liter twin turbo engine. And yeah, it's fantastic. It's fast. But the 2.7 liter is really fast. And it's very impressive in the F-150. And it's very impressive in the Bronco, even though the Bronco has these huge tires, which huge tires don't help with acceleration. They actually make a vehicle accelerate more slowly, if I'm not mistaken, and it's going to be fantastic. Now, All Terrain Nation. So David over at All Terrain Nation on YouTube, he did a little video, a little teaser on the new Ford Ranger, showing that Ford had been teasing it, the Ford Ranger Raptor. So you want to go check out that video if you want to hear a little sound clip. But that 3-liter in the Ranger it's one of the best sounding 6-cylinders on the market. And I mean across all vehicles. I don't want to say anything crazy and say I think it sounds better than, let's say a Porsche, but I can definitely say it's in the top 5. I put it in the top 3 best sounding 6-cylinders out there. So you want to check out Dave's video, because I haven't done a video on that yet. And why not? Why not? We should always encourage our buddies. And David over there is a buddy. So Brent Berryman says, exciting seeing people get build dates finally. Yeah, build dates on the Broncos are really starting to move forward. And Brent, thank you very much for your membership. It really does help the channel out. And you've also introduced the subject I wanted to get to talking about anyway. So you really planned that well. You read my mind, because that was the next thing I want to talk about. And I'll keep some other notes.
We have many people on the chat right now that says they had a build date, and Tien Baba says just before his Maverick is at home now.
Oh, right on! Congratulations, Tien Baba.
Yes, so much great news tonight.
I'm extra happy because, like Ridgeview, you've been keeping me informed about your whole process from day one, from summer 2021. So that's really exciting. I'm really happy for you. If you want to share, if you've gotten a chance to drive it enough to get a feel for it, share your feelings in regards to the vehicle, the positive, and even if there's some negative, that's totally okay too. I never like information that's extremely negative or extremely positive, because it's very rare that we should ever be extremely negative or extremely positive about something. Now, the Maverick, because of the price, yeah, I'm extremely positive about it. The Raptor, if you want my honest opinion, I think it's an amazing machine, but it's expensive. That's its downside, the cost. Now, talking about scheduling notes, so if you just want to note where we're at in the video, honey, we're at 32 minutes, and we are talking about scheduling notes. So this comes from last week. Do keep in mind, this week's scheduling notes are talking about the Maverick. If I'm not mistaken, pretty sure I had those. So I have the shortened version, not the full. The full I'll get tomorrow. But right now, the line scheduling plan for this week is they're going to be giving out dates to the 23 model year Maverick and the 22 model year Super Duty. So if you haven't gotten a build date yet for a Super Duty, there's still hope that you get a build date and it gets built as a 22. But for the Maverick, they're on to 23. Everything else is not scheduling, so pretty easy there. I won't read it all off. We don't have time to waste time. But let's now just talk about where we were last week. Like, what dates were they giving out? If you got a build date, let's say for the Aviator or Explorer, they're out to December 5th. So they're giving dates out for December 5th, production week of December 5th. If you're looking at Escape Corsair, they're giving out dates between the weeks of the 31st of October all the way out to December 5th, all the way out to the week of December 5th. Now, the Bronco and the Ranger, there was no scheduling for the Mach-E, so I'd have to go back even a week or two before that to actually have those dates, but those will come out in future videos. I'll try to get to this every time I have this information. But for the Super Duty, we already talked about that, but they're giving out dates for the week of the 19th. And actually that was last week, so they're probably out to the week after. So near the end of December, if you get a date for a Super Duty, that's where they're at. Now the F-150, they were out between the 21st and the week of the 28th of November. So by now, November is scheduled out on the F-150. Now the Edge and the Nautilus, I don't have notes. It says no scheduling, but the Maverick, they were scheduling, giving dates between the 21st of November to the week of the 12th of December. So now this week, that means they're going to be doing the week after the 12th of December. So they're around the middle of December for giving out dates. So I wish you all good luck. I wish you more cars and more power. So obviously I'm hoping that if you've ordered a Maverick, you get scheduled around, the 15th to the 20th of December, because that's where they're at. Now, I just want to cover, we're going to be wrapping up the show shortly, and we'll take a few questions right after. But I did want to mention that an important date for the 2023 model year Bronco, really important date to know. It's that there is a dealer action required by November 21st. Your dealer needs to confirm all transitioned orders match the original customer spec, meaning call your clients, talk to your clients, let them know, hey, this color here, your color you picked doesn't exist anymore. What color do you want it instead? Talk about the modifications if they've got changes that have been made, that's something new, something no longer available. Let them know what's going on. Then once you've reviewed this, you need to go in and change that priority code, which is going to be a 99, and it's never going to get built as it has a priority code 99. Give it a 10 to a 19. So very important, because any of these Broncos that don't get dealt with by the dealership communicating with the customer by November 21st, spooky news, you're canceled forever. So Fiesta canceled forever. Your Bronco order that you've reserved and you've been waiting on what feels like forever, if you don't get down to business with your dealership by November 21st, do it as soon as possible, because after the 21st, if it hasn't been done, it's gone, and it's gone forever. So I want to mention that. Now, I covered this in my Lightning video, so if you want the exact dates and the full description about what's going on with the Lightning, go back and watch my last Lightning video. But if I do recall, that's going to be next summer. For some reason, I'm thinking August 5th as a date, and that's not precise. This is just wild memory. Just know there is time, but if you've reserved, if you have an original reservation with Ford when you put down $100 on the website with Ford, well, before the end of next summer, and I don't have the exact date, but you need to have put in an order, confirmed an order with your dealership, meaning you're going to be signing a build sheet, you're going to be signing a sheet that says, things could vary, that they might not be able to deliver you the vehicle exactly as ordered. We've seen that with, the Wi-Fi, the being removed from a lot of Ford vehicles. That's where the vehicle has this whole capability to pay a phone provider to give internet to the vehicle, so that the vehicle itself has its own internet source. But come on, not a big deal these days. Most of us have a telephone that has internet, and it itself can give internet to the vehicle and give internet to people in the vehicle. So in my opinion, why have, and I'm sure there's some exception where it'd be really useful, but in my head right now, I'm thinking, for me, definitely don't need that 4G Wi-Fi system. I wouldn't pay for it per month. So I think that covers mostly everything. Just on a quick little happy note, because, we can be happy on Halloween. It doesn't just have to be spooky. F-150 Lightning, very cool, because we're getting free all-terrain tires. Now, why are we getting free all-terrain tires from Ford when I was going to end up paying like $1,200 to really probably more like $1,500 to $1,600 for some good all-terrain tires? Why is Ford giving them up for free? Because things are so bad that the regular tire supplier for those all-season tires, they can't be provided. So Ford is upgrading, paying more on cost, getting us better tires. Constraints are a real thing. So avoid adding, to your orders. If you want the best advice I can give you, take off all the unnecessary stuff. Get accessories, get the vehicle to you, then get the accessories from the Ford parts department. Or, we try to add it to our show, little suggestions like, hey, if you're shopping a Maverick, here are some tarps and some bed liners. And Ford parts, I like getting things through Ford parts, because then if they're on your original contract, well, they're also warranted for 3 years, 60,000 kilometers. They're good parts. And, if you don't want to go that route for whatever reason, we have some good cost alternatives, which if you click on Amazon, even if you don't end up buying, when you click on our links for Amazon, what's funny is even if you don't end up buying, the Maverick tarp, but you end up buying, I don't know, something for the house, a new TV, makeup, whatever it may be, that's still going to help us out because it's coming in originally, your search is originally coming in from our website. So that'll help us out. Now, Ridgeview want to know, Marie, what's going on with your Maverick build?
It will be an easy answer. Nothing. Yeah, I guess we'll be so happy to say the news to you that when we will have a build date for sure, you will all know. But now, for now, I'm still waiting. So John received his build date for the Lightning before me. So that's the life. It's meant to be. I need to wait.
You're being taught a whole lot of patience.
Yeah, and it's like I know that I probably won't have any news before Christmas. So for now, I just let it go.
And Ridgeview says, too bad, Marie, to you. Thank you, Ridgeview, for the emotional support. And Marie, I think, does need the emotional support. So mighty kind of you, my friend. So Ridgeview, I can say my friend, we talk back and forth on Messenger, and he's always, from day one, basically been helping out with the channel. So really, really appreciate it, Ridgeview. We're fans of yours. So thank you for all the help. Now, do we have any questions, Maddie?
We have a few ones. I really love that one. So LR Waywright said, did Winston hide when Johnny put that hair on at the beginning of the show?
The first time I put it on was for her niece. We had an 80s themed birthday party. She wanted that, so that's what we gave her. Marie did some awesome balloon displays, and we dressed up. And Winston actually, was he scared, or was he just, I thought he just kind of really wanted to give me a hug.
Yeah, he was sniffing your hair. He was curious, but he didn't hide. But I was the first to dress up, and he was looking at me with a little smile. Yeah, the poodle can smile. He was laughing at me already.
I think the best way to describe it is he was laughing at us. And Lily, once I put this on, let me show you how much, obviously Lily, when she saw me wearing this, and pretty much we matched, she basically was like, oh my goodness, you're my real daddy. So she was just trying to jump in my face and give me lots of kisses, because she really likes it when I look like her. So look, if you do this,
like a little
it's like
Yeti.
the same. So she's a little Yeti, and she likes the hair. Now, do we have any other questions, Maddie?
M. Peugeot was asking if you know what they will do with the Fiesta factory. Is it for Bronco now?
No, but that'd probably be really cool. But I suspect that factory is just going to close, but we'll have to wait and see, because I don't have anything official to share in regards to that. So we'll see what happens, and obviously I'll keep you informed. So do like and subscribe. And subscribing, you won't miss any Ford information and the occasional odd non-Ford video that I like to throw out there, just to mix it up and keep things interesting.
And another question from Nick North. He was saying, do you have any Explorer news?
Explorer news. Well,
he ordered one.
Yes. The Explorer, I can tell you, for example, I'm sure you're already aware of the things it's not going to come with, the controls for the temperature in the back seat. It's going to be controlled from the front of the vehicle, so basically the driver or the passenger. But Explorers haven't been that bad in regards to wait times. And of course, more complicated models, you could say, models requiring more microchips, because they have things like, originally I originally talked about how I felt a roof could cause a bit of a delay. This goes back to way back last summer on the Maverick, and that was never confirmed. And I'm pretty sure can say I'm one of the rare times I was just pretty darn wrong on it in regards to the Maverick, but it had been a delay issue on the Ford Bronco Sport, so same factory, and I said, why not? It makes sense. So I speculated, and now on the F-150, they're actually saying, twin panel moonroof, or the panoramic, twin panel panoramic roof does slow down orders. So I don't see why it wouldn't be the same for the Explorer, because if it's slowing it down on the F-150, yes, it could just be let's say, a supplier for the glass, but there is a little engine and microchips for, moving back the shade. So I'd suspect that that can be a bit of a delay on the Explorer, but I'm not really noticing any major delays on the Explorer. I think a general wait time on that vehicle, we can say, is around 5 months. So sometimes you might get, I don't think you're going to get very lucky all that often and see 3 months, but it's going to play around 5-6 months, with the occasional one maybe coming at 4 and the occasional one taking 7 or 8 months. Now, I had seen in the past some really bad delays on the Explorer. Explorer is taking occasionally like an ST fully decked out with roof, and the urban and tech package taking a year, but it's not that bad now. Now, Andy, thank you so much. Very, very kind of you, Andy Ackerman. Very much, very, very kind, because that's like 20 Canadian dollars. But wait, where did Johnny go? So I guess the tip is for my ridiculous outfit. It'll basically pay for the wig. So thank you very much. And he says, what's up to MP, Marie-Pierre. So that's very kind. We always like it when people come in and they say hi to each other. And obviously we like it when you say hi to us too. Lets us know that we're doing okay. So if no one says hi, no one's talking in the comments section, then we figure, I guess the show has lost its flavor. Now, I think we've covered everything for questions. Do we have anything? Maybe
one last from Mark D. Do you have any info about the transit passenger van? Any news about that?
Yeah, it's generally unless there's a miracle solution. If a dealership tries to tell you that a transit's gonna, don't worry about, give me $1,000 deposit. It won't take very long. It'll take like 3-4 months. I'm gonna BS bust that. I'd say a miracle case, maybe you jump ahead of some people, but a lot of transits in the system are simple orders. It's not like F-250s where sometimes you get one produced quickly because it's a simple build, not requiring a ton of microchips, not requiring the roof, the electric running boards, spray and bed liner and all this added stuff. You can see a Super Duty go quick, but basically a transit van, I'm suspecting, depending on your dealerships, you're probably looking at about 1 to 2 years, unless things get a lot better. If things get worse, you might be looking at 2 to 3 years. But right now, it's about 1 to 2 years for a transit.
And the last one from M. Peugeot. I will let you read that because I know you're more visual when it's...
So M. Peugeot is asking, which do you think is the better path forward? Bronco Wildtrak versus F350 XLT Tremor Crew Cab with 7.3 gas engine, 4.3 gears, dual alternator and dual battery, and upfitter switches. Well, if we're talking about resale, I'd go for the Bronco. And it's going to come down to how you use it. And I'd prefer, really, because we're in regions with a lot of trees. So we took the F-150 Raptor off-road, and with all those trees, guess what? It wasn't as fun to off-road as the Bronco, because the Bronco has a much, much, much better turning radius. It is less long, and this is probably why you picked up your two-door M Peugeot. Your two-door Bronco is better at going off-roading in, the treed areas than our four-door. But our four-door Bronco is a whole lot more fun to have in the woods than the Raptor. The Raptor is incredible if you're going to go into, fields or desert-like areas and catch a little air, throw around a little sand, and just blow the doors off by going fast. So I would definitely pick a Bronco Wildtrak. Also, resale value. I don't know how the market is going to react in, 5 to 10 years from now to a 7.3. Now, the Godzilla engine is Godzilla-ly. It's awesome. It's all rock. It's not soft rock. It's heavy metal. So the 7.3 sounds great, goes great. It's a very impressive motor. It's very reliable. Ford. I'm suspecting it's going to be extremely reliable because it's going back to its, push rod, old V8 style, unkillable, great at idling for hours at end technology. So I don't see how they can get it wrong. It's an old recipe that works well. If you're going to be working with the vehicle, well, I'd rather have that cab to put things in than on a Bronco. You're always going to be towing, and of course, you're only towing at 3,500 pounds. So if it needs to be both a work vehicle as well as an off-roader, then I'd go with the Tremor. And if it's going to be a vehicle that's going to idle for long periods of time, well, any direct injection engine that's going to sit and idle for, a couple hours a day, that worries me when we're talking about direct injection. Whereas the 7.3, I wouldn't be worried about that idling for 8 hours a day and then only driving for 1 hour a day. It'll handle it.
Perfect.
Okay response. You approve?
Yeah.
I like your makeup. I like your outfit.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and at the same time, you said with the Raptor, when it's a truck, it's hard sometimes to go off-roading. We already tried it. When we tried to back up and turn, it wasn't easy that much.
Oh, no.
Bronco is shorter. It's the best one to try.
No winch. And when we were backing up, I need to do, I worry. If I do a video on our off-road experience with the Raptor, are we going to get 400 views? And if so, YouTube, how it works, the algorithm. If your channel's growing and every week you're getting, 5, 10, 15, 20,000 views, if you're growing, they help you continue to grow. And if you're not growing, you do a few videos that only pick up 400 or 500 views, well then they're gonna suggest less your future videos. So they help you shrink and they help you grow. So I'm kind of torn, I could do an off-road video and it's cool because with the Bronco Raptor, we had the experience where we're backing up and trying to maneuver on the trail, and that just made us kind of dig in and we almost got stuck. Thankfully, the Bronco Raptor is high up, but we were close to getting pinned. Pinned on a vehicle that's like, 6,000, must be close to 6,000 pounds. I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but we don't have a winch on it. We would have been in trouble because we also didn't have a rescue vehicle because our Bronco was all the way back, an hour away. So it'd have been embarrassing taking my parents' Bronco Sport, which not to pull us out, that's a joke, but to drive all the way an hour back, then picking up the big Bronco, coming back, but our big Bronco doesn't have skid plates on it. And that could have been very dangerous because on the way out with the Raptor, we dropped on a rock pretty hard and scratched the skid plate. Now, had that been our Bronco without skid plates, maybe lost the radiator, and quite possibly with where it was aligned with, maybe lost, maybe break the oil pan and bleed out right on the trail. So I went back, not with the Bronco, I went back with the four-wheeler, and I should do a short on that because short doesn't hurt the stats in regards to the channel growing or kind of being pushed in, the algorithm works that your channel can also shrink because you put out a few videos that only get 400 or 500 views because you want to cover the 4Runner or you want to do something specific on the Bronco. But anyways, I took the four-wheeler out. She refused to follow me. Good, because I guess she would have been scared because I rolled that. The mountains, what's really cool in my parents' domain, how it works is they've got areas where you're in between two valleys and it's mud. It's just mud and down trees, and you're climbing over trees, down trees, you're going through mud. But then there's also you can have basically almost a 90-degree angle. But anyways, going down, we almost flipped forward, but we made it out. We helped each other out by sitting on the back of the four-wheelers and adding weight, except I was the guinea pig. I went first, and then I told everyone, hey, I almost did a front roll, but as the guinea pig, I also did a side roll. So not injured. It didn't help me grow more man hair, but it was pretty scary, and the four-wheeler is now a little banged up. The back is scratched up, the side is scratched up, but hey, members help cover the damage I put trying to learn new things, do new content. So that's that. So again, thank you very much to the members here for helping us learn and grow. And I will continue to try all sorts of vehicles. I've owned 70 some vehicles, and I've driven hundreds of vehicles. So I like to do that. Even if I don't put out a review, I like to be able to know, okay, well, Toyota, here are some great things. The motor will last 500,000 kilometers, but the backup camera sucks. The interior pretty much sucks. It's boring, but it's super reliable. It's got, you know, the 4Runner has incredible exterior style. It's got a lot of trunk space. I like the 4Runner, but I prefer my Bronco. I like to have up-to-date technology, so, you know, Bronco with, you know, the off-road cruise control, you've got trail turn assist. If you've got a Badlands, you have stabilizer bar disconnect. I think Ford is really killing it these days. They're doing a great job. So thank you everyone for being here with us tonight. We always want to try to keep the show just under an hour. So that's where we're going to cut it off now. Thank you so much for joining us. We wish you all more cars and, of course, more power. So we'll try to maybe do a little short when I throw on that exhaust, a new exhaust, Borla Performance exhaust on the Raptor, show you a little before and after. Or if a few of you in today's comment section write, you know, finisher and, you know, make that Raptor exhaust video, well, then I'll throw in the Raptor exhaust video. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate.
And thank you for the good comment about our costume. It was a pleasure to do that tonight with you.
Yes, and for sharing your intel with the community. So huge congratulations to Ridgeview, who just got his Maverick. Huge congratulations to TN Bubba, who just got his Maverick. I'm really happy for you all. Thank you, and we'll be back as soon as we can. But if I have time, I will make a video, maybe do a little live tomorrow night without the costumes. Take care, everyone.